baby. My mama told me, son, always be a good boy. Don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We're sure glad to see you today. We try to bring you unusual tools you might not have seen before. I know both of the tools today are new to us. I think you'll enjoy them. Let's get on down to the shop and get them restored.
Here are a couple of unusual tools I found recently. First was this multi-wrench. I can't find any kind of name or anything on it. It had been painted black at one time and it's peeling off. But it's made for square nuts or square bolt heads. You can see it's got 1, 2, 3 openings here and then 2 here. So all for square nuts or square bolt heads. Got to be really old for that reason. Also, there's a screwdriver tip on the end here, so this will go with my multi-tools. So it's good for multi nuts and bolts, and then the slotted head, of course. So I'm going to strip that down and clean it up. I don't know whether I'm going to paint it or see what the finish looks like, or put a gun blue on it, but it may be headed for gun blue since it looked like it was a dark tool originally. Second is this nice socket wrench. Very interesting. It says patented March 10th, 1914. When I showed this wrench originally, I was saying 1814, but I couldn't make that out. And it really looked like an 8, but it still is a little bit that way, but it actually is 1914. There wouldn't be any such thing in 1814. It was made by Louisville Silo and Tank Company. Actually, not made by them. It was made by Chicago Tool Company, but it was marketed by them, I guess, for use with their tanks and silos, for use on them. How this operates, first of all, you can see the gears are exposed. It's not an enclosed wrench, and it's got a through design, so you can use them with, long bolts. But you can see how it ratchets here. Not like the one today that try to hit 90 or 100 plus clicks on it there, or settings on it. So this is a very coarse one. There's probably about 15 or 16 different notches here, but it doesn't have to be any different. And you can see it's got a logo on it here, CH. So the socket, I don't know if it's part of this or not, but how you reverse it, you take it out and you put it in on the other side, and it reverses the action there. Just a really old rustic wrench. It's old, pitted, dirty. We're not going to do a lot to it. I'm not going to smooth it out and make it look like a shiny new wrench or a shiny old wrench. I'm just going to clean it up and get it nice and clean, and just get it looking good. I like the wrench. It's just got a good look to it. The old design of the ratcheting here is just really, really nice because of the exposed type design on it here. So I'm going to get that one cleaned up. I'm going to get this one cleaned up and restored. Let me get to work. Early tanks and silos were made with wooden staves. They were wrapped with metal bands. This wrench was sold to tighten the banding to keep the staves in place and the contents secure. Well, here's the next step on this little part. I've got my clean Jasco premium paint and epoxy remover. Usually seems to do a pretty good job. So paint was sprayed up into the sockets and everywhere, so I've got it inside and out, coated everywhere with the stripper. Gotta let it set a while. I'm gonna leave the room. Number one, it's got a little bit of odor, and number two, you gotta let it set a while, and sometimes I get antsy and can't wait, so I'm gonna leave it for a while and let it do its job. Well, one thing about working on these tools, there's always something interesting. You can't ever get too complacent. I use my paint stripper on this multi-tool, and as you can see, there's tons of paint still on here. And when I tried to brush it earlier, wire brush it, I noticed it just really wasn't coming off. And after using the paint scrubber and then scrubbing it with a hand wire brush quite a bit, I've come to the conclusion I think this was Japanning on here. It is extremely difficult to remove that. It can't be paint. It's beyond paint. So it's got to be Japanning, or some type of epoxy paint was put on here once. So I'm going to have to get out the old grinder with a heavy-duty coarse wheel and get to work on this, because that's the only way I'm going to get all that off of here. Always some surprises. Well, I was headed outside, but I wimped out. It's 98 degrees out there, and the only spot I got to work in is a sunny spot, so no way. Plenty warm enough in the shop here, although it stays fairly decent because I'm insulated all the way around, insulated door. That really helps a lot. But here's what I got to. I went ahead and used my bench grinder with a wire wheel, coarse wheel. And then I gave it a hard, heavy scrubbing with acetone. And I've still got lots of black on here. This is definitely Japanning. So it's going to take lots of work and persistence. And maybe I'll get out in the morning when it's cooler with that angle grinder and that coarse brush, and that'll take care of the rest of this. I better wait on that. I'm not going to get any more done in here, but I was just trying to show you what you're up against when you're trying to remove that old Japanning. That stuff is just like iron. It's unreal how it coats and stays on there. But when it starts to come off and it's half on and half off, it looks terrible. So we'll get her done tomorrow when it's a little cooler. I'm taking a break right now. Well, here's the little multi-tool, primed and ready for, or just should say ready for gun blue, which I'm going to put on it. That Japanning on there was really a bear. I ended up having to sand the rest of it off. I spent about 3 to 4 hours sanding on this. Believe me, that's a lot of time and a lot of work just getting into all those areas, but it just would not come off. I mean, that finish was on there solid. And I had that happen before with an old tool that I got, and I can't believe, I spent days working on it. It was a big wrench just getting all that Japanning off. But it's off. It's sanded smooth now. Prepped right, because that's what you do before you put your gun blue on. So now I'm going to finish it off with the gun blue. Well, here's what these two tools look like when I got them. And I got to say again, this was a fun episode. I got to work on some tools I've never had before, and that's always exciting and different. And find out some history on them. The first was this Louisville tank and silo wrench that was sold by a company that made tanks and silos. They didn't make the wrench itself, and I'll get into that. First, I'll show you what I did to improve it. You can see it just turned out beautiful, just nicely done. all the way around. What I did was I kept the original. It's got a super steampunk look to it, both in design and just look. And I wanted to keep that real original. This is an old wrench. It's heavily pitted and was stained, but I took it and just super cleaned it. I really took a lot of time to clean everywhere I could with the Dremel and wire brushes and cleaners, and scrubbed it with acetone, and just did everything I could to get it as clean as possible. And then gave it a wax finish to preserve it, but I wanted to keep the old look to it. The old look is just super. It's that nice. The design, that shows up very well. And by the way, that I finally figured out that, and that C was actually, this wrench was made by Chicago Manufacturing and Distributing. That looks like a CH on there, so I thought maybe that was their logo, but I couldn't find it. But they made wrenches for lots of people, and really just about every tank and silo company there was had a wrench, and most of the wrenches were made by the same company. I just like the notches on the outside here for the ratcheting, and it's all exposed, but the wrench works well. And again, it works if you want to reverse it. You reverse it this way, and then you're working the other way. Again, there's the name. I didn't show you that side of it. But it's just the look of it was interesting. It intrigued me, and I wanted to stay with it, but it really needed to be clean, and it was really grungy and just, 100 years of old ground in dirt and grease, and so nothing like a good cleaning. But I didn't see any purpose in polishing and smoothing out all the bumps and wrinkles and character marks. This wrench has got character. I wanted to keep it, and I think I succeeded in doing that. This other tool, this little multi-wrench, for square-headed nuts and bolts, and it just really, I mentioned in the video it looked like Japanning on it, so it was a full day of work getting all of that Japanning cleaned off of here. Maybe there's a magic formula I don't know of, but I used acetone, I used cleaners, I used paint strippers, wire brushing, and then heavier wire brushing, and finally I sanded it. I had to sand all that old, and it was all peeling off and cracked, but what finish was left on there was just on there solid. So I ended up sanding the wrench every surface 100%, and then here's how I finished it up. And I think I got a good finish on it. I went to gun blue. I could have gone with a paint, which would maybe would have looked more like the original Japanning, but I think this finish just works super on this wrench. And of course, if you smooth it out really good and get all the flaws out of it before you start, or before you put the finish on it, it looks great, as I always say. And happy with it. Unusual wrench. You got your 3 sockets here, and then you have these 2 cutouts here, all for square head nuts and bolts. And so the wrench is 100+ years old because it was around when I gathered, 1920s, where things really started to change. Maybe a little earlier, but changing over to the hex head that we see today. Actually, I've used some square head nuts and bolts, and they work great. I mean, it's a very positive connection. You don't strip those. But they changed, the industry changed, and it went a different direction. And so this is a piece of the old history when they had the old type, and somebody came up with this. It's got a screwdriver tip on it here. Something that was probably made for a specific application, because that's a big, broad, heavy screwdriver. It's not going to fit a lot of them, a lot of screw heads. So this was probably made to be used in a specific application, but I can find nothing on this wrench. There are absolutely no marks on here. Nothing I could find in history that tells me about it. So, there's the restorations. I had a fun time with these. I'm sorry I couldn't learn more about this one, but we did learn some history here. And they turned out like I wanted them. The steampunk look here and the nicely finished look here. Thanks so much for watching my video.